All right, so I'm recording me again today, and we'll see how much better it sounds that I have an AirPods instead of just talking into an emptier space that tends to echo a little bit more when there's not quite as many people in the space. But that's okay. Um, and so then I did figure out I can use Spotify on my laptop. So I still have all these things. I have too many things now. It's totally like not yoga like at all. I feel like to be, here's my laptop, my phone, all the things, right? The point of going on our mat sometimes is to disconnect from all of this stuff. Um, and this is taking us in the other direction. That's okay. So anyway, as we start practice this afternoon, and I wanted to read something to you really quick, and you probably, almost all of you have heard me read this around this time of year for the last, now this is the 5th year that I'm reading it. I realized the other day that, and so when I started teaching here, it was on Saturdays in December, and I realized the other day that it had been 5 years now that I've been teaching on Saturdays and teaching here, which is crazy that that much time has passed already. But I think I've read this every year right around this time. So you probably have heard it before, but it's still fitting to read it again. It says, and remember that every day is new. The first day of January is not imbued with some special magic. Always keep in mind that while the new year is a conventional time to make resolutions, each new day, new hour, and new minute offers the same opportunity for transformation. Right, so we always have that ability to kind of start over, and we don't have to wait for some date in order to do that, whatever that date might be, January 1st or your birthday or the beginning of a school year, the things that kind of generally for us feel like a good time to do something different or start something new. But we get that opportunity anytime that we want to take it. So yeah, kind of keeping that in mind a little bit as you maybe reflect on what the end of this year holds and what the whole past year kind of was like for you. And don't forget, I said a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it again, this year may have had a lot of more low points than we had hoped it would. And it might still feel like that. But there are the opportunities for growth, and that's the kind of stuff we could take forward with us as we go into the new year, of what we can take away from that and make it a more positive thing going forward. Easier said than done, but for me today is one of those days where I'm like, yeah, I actually feel like great, and things are in the, tomorrow, ask me tomorrow, I might tell you something completely different. It's fine. That's the way it goes, right? So let's take a moment to close the eyes, settle the shoulders, relax the jaw. And allow your breath to shift a little bit more into your belly. So for you, right, sometimes for me, I need to place a hand on my belly to consciously bring awareness to filling up all the way down to the bottom of my belly with the breath. For you, you may need that feedback and you might not. And as it starts to become a little more accessible as you breathe in and out, right, filling up the full belly, maybe you also start to imagine that the breath is filling up along the back, right, through the rib cage, through the kidneys, everything along the back side of your body. Find a little bit more length through the spine, stacking the shoulders over the hips, still maintaining that 360 breath, right? So think about circling the whole rib cage, the whole belly, the whole torso. And then on your next inhale, take the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders down. Inhale, taking the shoulders up. Exhale, rolling the shoulders down. And then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, let the fingertips just barely touch. Exhale, drop the hands down behind the back, interlace the fingers, rolling the shoulders back a little bit more, lifting the heart up. Think about creating space right at your heart center. And then maintain as much of that space as you can as you release the arms and bring them to rest in front of the heart. Setting your intention. And then blinking open the eyes, dropping the arms back down by your sides. Inhale, sweep them up overhead, fingertips just barely touch. And then exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, sending the arms up, fingertips barely touching. Exhale, twist to the left. And then inhale, come back up through the center, same thing, just touching. Exhale, hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back. Breathe in. Breathe out, release that bind. Inhale, arms go back up overhead. Exhale, left hand drops down by your side, right arm reaches. And then inhale up through the center, exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches. Inhale back up through the center. This time, left hand comes behind like your hip. So not directly behind, like think more of a little bit on a diagonal. You're gonna reach that right arm in the same direction. And then inhale up, right hand plants down the same way, left arm reaches toward that back right corner. And then we're gonna go forward. So think outside of the left knee, you'll twist the torso a little bit, reaching over to the left. And then right hand down outside and left arm reaches. And then bring the whole torso forward, hands down, walk the hands out into a little bit of a fold. And then slowly let yourself come back up. Find your way into tabletop pose. Once you're there, cycling through some cat and cows, you're circling out your wrists, maybe circling out the neck. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Left hand stays right under the shoulder. Kickstand the left foot out, step back, kneeling side plank with the right arm up to the ceiling. Pressing the hips forward, pressing the heart forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Come back through the center and then open out the other way, kicking that left or right foot out, stepping back with the left. Left arm reaches up. Hips pressing forward, heart pressing forward, pressing down through the right hand. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale, come back to the center and then go back to the other side. Right arm goes back up to the ceiling, right foot steps back. Back through the center and then opening out to the left side of your mat. And then back through the center. Fingers spread super wide. Inhale, drop the belly down, cow. Exhale, round the spine up, cat. Inhale, drop the belly down. Exhale, round the spine. Up, tug the toes, lift the knees so they hover just above your mat, right? Starting to engage in the core, shortening the space between the rib cage and the hips. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, downward facing dog. Start to pedal out the heels. Right, same thing. Maybe you're still circling out your neck a little bit. Maybe you're still releasing into your wrists a little bit. And then settle in, find some stillness to your down dog. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, lift high on the toes. Exhale, press back through the heels. Inhale, lifting high. Exhale, pressing back. Let's inhale, lift high, rock forward to our first high plank, top of a push-up. We're not gonna stay. We're gonna go right back to our downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high on the toes. Exhale, press back through the heels. Inhale, lift high, rock forward, high plank, top of a push-up, and then exhale right back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting high. Exhale, pressing back. Lift high, rock forward, high plank. Finish the inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. This time, lift high on the toes, rock forward, high plank, lower the knees, and then lower the heart all the way down. Lifting up, cobra, exhale, lower. Lifting up, cobra again, exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift up, cobra. This time, stay there. Peel the hands away from the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, lower the hands, press back through child's pose, right? Stretch out the back, stretch out the arms. And then slow to lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high on the toes. Breath out, press back through the heels. Inhale, lift high, rock forward, high plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift, taking the hands up with you. Point through the toes, right? Active legs. Lower everything down. And then hips back to the heels, child's pose. And then hips to the ceiling, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high. Breath out, press back. We'll do that flow one more time. Inhale, rock forward, high plank, lower all the way down to the mat. Take your time to get there. Inhale, lifting cobra. Exhale, lowering. Inhale, lifting cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, hands come up with you. And lower. Hips to the heels, child's pose. And then downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high, look forward, walk up to meet your hands. And then halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up, tall mountain. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders back. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Both hands plant, step back, high plank, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high on the toes. Breath out, press back through the heels. Send the right leg high, bend the knee, open up the hip. And then square the hips, taking your time to step the right foot forward. Right arm goes to the ceiling twist. Right hand comes to the mat, step forward. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, tall. Exhale, back to mountain. Inhale, shoulders. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Fold, plant the hand, step back, high plank. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Send the left leg up, bend the knee. Open up the hip. And then squaring the hips, stepping forward, taking your time to get there. Left arm goes up. And then bring the left hand down. Step the right foot forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders back. After a couple of weeks of kind of moving slow on the Monday class, I feel like I needed a little, see, you can tell I have more energy today. Not really sure why that is though. This is true. No work. And I went to acupuncture, all the good things. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold hands, plant, step back, high plank. This time we will flow through to our down dog any way that you would like to get there. Deep breath in and breath out. Send the right leg up to the ceiling. Step the right foot up in between the hands. So left knee is going to drop to the mat, but then we're going to kick that left foot inward. So we're in this kneeling lunge pose. I still don't really know what to call this because it's like awkward when you come up into it. But my left knee is stacked under my hip. My right knee is out 90-degree angle, right? So we kind of kickstand our foot the opposite way of what we're used to if we're coming into that kneeling side plank. So we're here, let the right hand kind of rest on your right knee for now. Left arm goes up alongside of the ear and then hinge a little bit toward the top of your mat. And then we're going to end up moving in and out of this right hip and the right knee. So the left arm will sweep down as we kind of bend a little bit more. We're going to reach toward the top of the mat with the left arm. And then backing out, big circle with the arm. It's going to land alongside of our ear again. And we're going to take that hinge toward the top of our mat. Lifting out of the hinge, sweep the arm down and forward as you bend a little bit more into that right knee, reaching forward. Backing out, sweeping the arm out and up, hinging toward the right knee. Sweeping the arm down and forward, bending into the right knee. One more time, up alongside of the ear, taking that hinge, right? So I'm not bending more into the right side. I'm letting the left side do the work. Sweeping the arm down and forward, reaching forward. Now add the right arm with it. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're gonna back out of that right leg and then bring the hands down, twist the torso back to the side of your mat. Walk that right foot so it's a little bit more parallel. You have a little bit more stability here. Now we're gonna slide the arm down, finding that gate pose, so similar to what we were doing. And then lifting back up, almost like we're gonna plant that left hand down to the mat. So finding that little bit of balance. My right foot is still down, but I'm reaching down, engaging through the core, lift back up and over, gate pose. And then this time we're gonna bring the left arm all the way down, right? So the left shoulder can close down as you start to reach for the right toes. And then we'll slowly start to back out of that. My hands are still down to the mat. They're gonna line up under my shoulders. My right leg is still extended long. Inhale, send the left arm up. Exhale, thread it under the right. So kind of like thread the needle. And then slowly start to lift up out of that. Walk the hands around. So you'll spin your feet with you, bend into the right knee. So you're framing out your right foot, lift off of the left knee, lunge, right? Be here. Inhale, send that right leg up and back. 3-leg down dog, bend the knee, open up the hip. And then left foot meets the right downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high on the toes. Breath out, press back through the heels. Inhale, send the left leg high. And then exhale, step the left foot forward, finding that runner's lunge first, and then the right knee drops down. And then the shin turns inward as we lift up onto the right knee. So my right knee again stacked under my hip, left knee forward, knee, ankle, 90-degree-ish bend, right? So we're there. You can add that left hand on the knee as a little bit of support, and then the right arm goes up alongside of the ear, hinging toward the top of your mat to keep the hips and the legs where they're at. And then we'll lift up, sweep the arm down and forward. Now we'll bend into that left knee, reach forward. Sweep the arm down and up alongside of the ear, hinging toward the left knee. And then inhale up, sweep the arm down, reach forward, bend into the left knee. Inhale, sweep up, over, reach over. Lifting, sweeping, reaching forward. Now add the left arm. Breathing in, breathing out. Start to back out of that leg. Bring the hands to the hips, spin your toes to the side of your mat so you're setting up for gate pose. Left arm slides down, reach. Right arm comes down like you're reaching to the mat, but my weight stays in my left foot. Inhale, reaching up and over. And then closing that right shoulder down, reaching for the left toes or as far as you can go. Walk the hands under the shoulder, finding that long spine. Inhale, right arm goes up. And exhale, thread it under. I feel like I'm purposely beating up everybody's knees though, the past couple of weeks. All this stuff of kneeling. And slowly start to press back up onto the hands, just enough that you can walk around to the top edge of the mat. Your feet and your knees will spin with you. Frame out your left foot. Lift off of the right knee. Find that runner's lunge. Planting the hands, sweep the left leg up and back. Bend the knee, open up the hip. And then left foot meets the right down dog. Deep breath in, lift high on the toes. Breath out, press back through the heels. Inhale, lift high, look forward, step your feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, child. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders back. Take your feet out as wide as your mat, turning the toes out, dropping the hips down, Malasana. Right, so I think last week we did this where I asked you to stay a little bit higher if your tendency is to go much lower, right? Stay uplifted, right? Rooting down, so the legs have to do a little bit of work to keep you there. Still pressing the knees open, finding that little openness in the hips, the inner thighs. And then hands to the mat, hips to the ceiling, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Drop the hips back down, find that Malasana pose, right? Same thing, still staying up a little bit more than you normally might. And then hips, or hands to the ground, hips to the ceiling, fold. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. And exhale. Step back, high plank. Float through the down dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Send the right leg high. Step the right foot forward. Left knee comes back to the mat, right? So if you've had enough and you need cushioning, adding that under, that foot kicks inward. So we're in the same lunge, right? 90 degrees, hips aligned under the, or knees aligned under the hips, all of that fun stuff where we were already. So the left arm starts to reach forward as we bend a little bit more into the right knee. And then backing out of it. Left arm reaches forward, bend into the right knee. And then backing out of it. This time we're gonna come into a kneeling side angle pose. So the right arm comes to the thigh, left arm reaches forward and then up toward the ceiling. So if we're used to side angle, this feels very awkward, but you might feel it in a different spot, right? So for me, it's more in my inner thigh than I would ever feel standing up on my feet, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. And exhale, start to back out of that. So the past couple of weeks, we kind of worked on this weird kneeling lunge, lifting up out of 90-90 thing. So here's where I want you to practice with a little bit of balance. This is going to feel really weird, but I want you to work on putting more weight in this bottom leg. So this right leg is still forward, but I'm going to work on shifting my weight a little bit into the right foot and then backing out into my left knee. And what I mean by that is that I start to peel my right foot up off of the mat, not all of the way, my heel is still down, right? So moving forward and then backing out. And then as you start to feel maybe a little bit more comfortable in this left knee, maybe you find where that space is that you can start to lift the right heel and then come back into it. And then space, maybe we lift the right heel. Right, my torso is moving in space backwards, so I can start to find that little bit of balance on the knee and then back out of it. Come all the way out of that lift off of the left knee, right? Because it needs a break. Step back, high plank. Flow through or come right to down dog. Once you're in down dog, if there's any movement you need to take because your hips are starting to talk to you, feel free to do that. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Inhale and exhale. Send the left leg up to the ceiling. Step the left foot up in between the hips. Right knee comes to the mat and then my right shin kicks inward, finding that lunge. Right, so it feels weird to have weight on your knee and balance there than you would if you were somewhere else. We do all of these other things on our feet or on our hands and whatever, and our knees just don't quite take balance the same way as the rest of our body for whatever reason. So we're here first, right? My right arm is gonna swing forward and reach forward and then back out of that front hip. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, back out of it. Finding that side angle like pose this time. So the left arm comes through the thigh, reaching up, opening the torso. Right, pressing down into the knee with the forearm. Maybe finding a little bit of a stretch up in that inner left thigh. And then slowly start to lift up off of that thigh. So you might have to walk your left foot away from you a little bit more to find this space where you can kind of flow in and out of putting weight into the left foot and into the right knee. We won't be here long because my right knee is already yelling at me, but we're here, maybe finding that spot where we can start to find a little bit of balance just on that right leg. Even if it's for a second, right? Just a little bit of balance. And then we'll come all the way out of it. Frame out the left foot, lift off of the right knee. Step back and flow, or come right to down dog. Any movement along the way you need to take. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. And exhale. Lift high on the toes, look forward. Walk your feet up. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall. Exhale, mountain pose. How you feeling? My legs are already like, ah. I know, damn. It's fine. So we're gonna play with that weight shift a little bit, standing. And so this will feel a little more familiar because it's like tree pose, but not like tree pose. So we have these habits, right, that we kind of establish, especially in balance poses, where we kind of come into it the same way. We maybe always look at the same spot. We have our feet the same way. So instead of fully finding that balance, we're gonna find that shift from one side to the other. So take your feet out a little bit wider, not quite as wide as your mat, but a little bit wider than your hips, right? So this just kind of gives us a little more space to rock our weight from foot to foot, right? So as we do that, we start to transfer the weight fully into the left foot. Maybe that right foot starts to lift up off of the mat, right? And because we haven't like planted down and come into tree pose, it's not quite the same. And you might find that you can just catch the balance for a little bit, or maybe not at all, right? Kind of depends. And then we'll do the same thing the other way. So now we'll start to transfer the weight into the right leg. Maybe you find that spot where you can ground down and keep the balance. Maybe you don't. Right? You can always use arms for counterbalance too. I know this feels really weird, but there is a point to it eventually, right? Where we find this spot where we can catch our balance and then come back to both feet, right? And one side probably is better than the other, as is everything else that we do in yoga. And that's just the way it goes. So now we'll try to transfer that balance and maybe find a tree-like pose. You might not hold it, you might, right? Your arms might help you to counterbalance in some way. So the left foot is gonna stay on the mat. So without that habit of, I'm planting my foot, I find the way I come into tree pose because it looks the same way every time that we do it, myself included. And maybe instead we find that spot that allows you to find a little bit more of a tree-like pose. Maybe your right foot doesn't come up as high as it normally would. Maybe once you're there, you can start to level the hips back out. Yeah. Yeah. And then letting that go, letting the right foot return to the mat, starting to transfer the weight into the right foot, in and out. And then once you find that spot, you can hang. Maybe you start to find more of a tree-like pose. And then slowly let the left foot return back to the mat. Step your feet in a little bit closer. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold hands, plant, step back, flow through, or come right to down dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale and exhale. So start to walk your hands back to your feet. And as you do that, start to bend into the knees so you can fully keep the hands kind of meeting the mat. Right, so you'll kind of be in this squat-like chair pose. with the hands down. And then we're gonna walk back to our high plank. So if you've ever taken yod, sometimes we do this thing called like a bear crawl. It kind of feels like this. And then you end up in a high plank. Same thing, right? Try to bend into the knees enough that you can keep the hands down onto the mat, right? So maybe they're not fully planted palms, but closer than maybe you would be if you were tending the fingers. Start to walk the hands back. Bending into the knees, sinking the hips back toward the heels, kind of like in this chair pose squat, hands on the mat. So now we're gonna walk forward and find a side plank with the left hand down. Start to walk forward. Once the left hand is extended far out enough that it lines up under the shoulders, spin open with the right hand. Stagger the feet. Breathing in, breathing out. Right hand to the mat. Walk back to your squat. And then walk forward to your side plank with the right hand down. Ha ha, no. The left arm goes up. Side plank, it should totally be a yod thing though. I might just have to make it that. Breathe in, breathe out. Left hand down, walk to the back of your mat. Take a breath, right? Maybe you squat all the way down like Malasana. Maybe you stand tall because that's where your legs need you to be. All good. Ready for some fun balancing here? So I was teaching this. Did I teach it last week? I don't know. I don't know what day anything is anymore. I was teaching this thing in my Friday class. I feel like it was my Friday class, where we were transferring our weight from like a forward fold to a down jog, right? So it's that same kind of concept of your body has to catch itself to find that spot where you can find your balance, right? And so the whole point of any of this is to acclimate your nervous system to being able to find your balance when you feel unsteady, right? And so I'm sure you can think of lots of other places in your yoga practice that is an occurrence. This is specifically doing it on purpose, right? So that our nervous system can be like, okay, I'm okay, I can catch myself and I can catch my balance. And then when we add it on to the other stuff we were doing, it'll all kind of make sense. We're not going to do it tonight, but because my legs can't take any more of that. But when we're moving in and out of that like lunge where we're having to bear weight on a knee and we have to catch ourselves in space before we step forward. Anyway, so this is where we're going, right? Shake out your legs a little bit if you need to, because I will. And then I'll kind of show you. And you may have seen this before somewhere else, or you might not have, right? So again, the hands being kind of all the way down on the mat is super helpful. If they don't get there, that's okay too, but know that you kind of need to catch yourself on your fingertips then if your palms aren't meeting the mat. So I was waiting for that to happen. I'm surprised I lasted this long. Okay. So you're kind of in a downward facing dog, and then you find that spot where you can press off and catch your heels. Press off, catching your feet, right? And so your knees might be bent. You may eventually find that spot where you can come to straight legs. So it's almost like a forward fold with your arms reaching out. But you're catching that spot on your feet. I hope this makes sense to you. Where you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Where you're trying to catch the weight from shifting from your hands to your feet, right? And it's this idea of your body kind of catches you in space. Yeah, awesome. Tiffany, your back's not having it. I was wondering that as I started teaching it. I'm like, I don't know. But so knees can be bent or not. Awesome, Alyssa. So, right, and eventually you find that spot where maybe you can stand all the way up and you've kind of caught your balance from the spot. Feels ridiculous, right? It's okay. But it's just giving your body something else to kind of figure out where you are in space, right? And so when we add it on to things where we have to, our body has to realize that we're okay and can catch our balance, And we can do that, right, in regular life or in weird things that I teach you in class. It's fine. All right, let's let that go. Shake it out a little bit. Whatever you might need to do to release it. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold hands, plant, step back. Lower all the way down to the mat. This time we're gonna stay here. So stack the forearms at the top of the mat. Send your right knee out to the side for like half frog pose. Right, flexing through the right foot. Hip, knee, ankle in that 90-degree bend. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you straighten that right leg out. And then maybe you stay there, or you come up onto the forearms, elbows lined up right under the shoulder. So the upper body kind of looks like Sphinx pose. The right leg extended right out from the right hip. And then lowering the chest back down, bending back into the right knee. And then bringing the right leg along to meet the left. Bend the left knee out to that 90-degree angle. Right up in line with the hip, ankle under the knee, flexing the left foot. And again, option of staying right where you're at, or maybe starting to straighten that left leg out to the side. Maybe you come up onto forearms like Sphinx pose. All good. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, that's the worst. And that takes a while to not hurt. Okay. Ooh, I'm sure, because that's like right on that spot. Ooh. Lower the chest back down, bend into the left knee. Yeah, that takes a long time to go away. And then left leg, that's good. Come back. Bend the knees, windshield viper from side to side. And then straighten the legs, bring the hands right under the shoulders, press up to a cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting up, peeling the hands up with you. And then exhale, lower, sink the hips back to the heels, child's pose. Especially, did we do the rocking up to boat pose? Yeah, that totally was, yeah, no. Ugh. And slowly coming back up, we'll find an easy seat again. So kind of like we did at the beginning, and then we'll move back to some hips in a moment. So I feel like I need to stretch my back out a little bit. So we're here, inhale, send the arms up, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, send the arms up, exhale, twist to the left. And then inhale back up through the center. Exhale, hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, roll back. And releasing the arms. Still staying up tall. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, left hand outside of that left hip, reaching back toward the left corner, just like we did in the beginning. Inhale through the center. Exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches back. We're going to take a walk toward the top of our mat. So left hand goes outside of the left hip, reaching over with the right arm. Inhale up and over the other way. And then toward the top of the knees, right, left hand down. Twist the torso, reach. Inhale, right hand down, left arm up and over. And then we'll stay forward, bring the left hand down, walk both hands out, kind of fold. And then start to walk the hands back in. Uncross the legs, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, hands behind for a little bit of support. So seated figure four, right ankle over the left knee. So I was thinking on the way here that we can celebrate now that we've passed the solstice. So that means we're getting extra light every day rather than losing light every day. That's exciting. 22 Mondays till Memorial Day. It was the last Monday of 2020. I know, right? When you went, yeah, it was windy. It's the thought, though. Uncross the legs, let the right foot come to the mat. We're going to keep the hands behind, right? So option to stay right here and kind of press into the hands and lift the heart, or lift the hips all the way up into reverse tabletop. And then slowly let everything come back down to the mat. Before we go to the other side, take your feet out a little bit wider and let the knees fall from side to side. And then bring the feet back in, setting up for our figure four on the other side, left ankle over the right knee. Can you imagine? That would have been kind of cool though, going on a board. It's Christmas Eve. It would be. Yeah. Yeah, it was like 60 on Christmas Eve, right? Aside from the wind being super crazy. And the rain held off for a while. It's supposed to rain like all day, but it didn't. Oh, really? Hmm. Yeah, it'll be not too bad. And letting that side go, planting the foot, same thing, right? We can press the heart forward and just stay here, or lift the hips up, reverse, stable. And then slowly lower back down. Let the knees windshield wiper. And then we're coming down onto our back. It's almost that time. So rolling all the way down, hugging the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Coming into happy baby pose. And we'll take a couple of minutes at the end of class to take an inversion. So whatever that might look like while you're home or here, legs up the wall, hips on a block, whatever feels right. Just taking a few more breaths. And slowly start to return to your mat. And taking the arms out to a T once you're there, unless there's a counter pose you need from your inversion, right? So taking the knees over to the left if you're ready for your final twist. Staying here, big breath in, emptying, letting it go, exhale it out. And then slowly transitioning to the other side. Same thing, staying here, big inhale and exhale. Making your way back to the center, hugging the knees into the chest, bringing your forehead up to the knees, and then settling into your final rest. And gradually start to bring awareness back to your breath. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Making small movements with our fingers, toes, circling wrists and ankles. And taking one big last stretch out like you just woke up. And then hugging everything in, rolling over to one side. And then slowly pressing up to a comfortable seat. And letting the eyes stay closed. Back to relaxing the belly, fully filling up with the breath. And then inhale, shoulders to the ears. Exhale, rolling them down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, fingertips just barely touching. Exhale, take them behind the back. Interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back. Keeping the space that you've created as you bring the hands in front of the heart. And coming back to our intention. And taking one more breath in and out. The light in me honors, acknowledges, and sees the light in you. Thank you so much for spending this last Monday of 2020 with me. Together we will seal class with a bow and namaste. It's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.